back to movementprofessional.com. We're here at Crossfit Advanced, here with Lindsay Pinter. So I'm pretty excited about this talk here. We've been having this conversation in different ways over and over again about the benefit of what's called positive psychology, which is a relatively new line of research. Basically, it looks at the study of happiness. So instead of looking at like why we're diseased and pathology and things like that, they're actually starting to look at like what actually makes us happy. And Lindsay was nice enough to dig up some research, and she's going to discuss that a little bit today about some of the factors that really we want to try to incorporate into our lives that seem to make people happier. So I'll have her take it away, and then we'll kind of come back together and discuss how we found some of the examples in the CrossFit community that kind of fit into some of these topics.
So, as Chris said, we've always studied in psychology, we've always studied pathologies, the negative aspects of what's bothering us or what have you. So, there's been this huge movement of what makes us happy. And Dr. Seligman is kind of the pioneer of this positive psychology. He's down at Penn, and he developed what is known as PERMA. These are the pillars of happiness. So, PERMA stands for positive emotion, engagement, relationships, meaning and accomplishment. The positive emotions are just exactly what you think: love, joy, gratitude, hope, amusement. And actually, as I was telling Chris before, gratitude is one of the best ways to increase engagement. Get involved in activities that you are good at, that increase your strength, your personal strength. Your relationships, obvious. So here's friends, coworkers, partnerships. Getting involved with something that is bigger than yourself, like CrossFit. And then accomplishment is essentially mastery and achievements.
So some of the things that I've taken from looking at what she just discussed here with PERMA is and how they fit into this CrossFit community. I love the word that she just used to describe accomplishment, and it's mastery. I'm going to write it down because I think when we talk about movement, and that's basically like anything on my side is, somehow falling into the movement category, is instead of thinking about exercise, it's always traditionally been thought of, or at least recently, it's just like a way to lose weight and, just a routine. It's almost more like a prescription. Looking at your exercise routine as a bunch of movements to master really changes the game a little bit and leads to more happiness and things like that. You start to get more positive emotions when you are able to do something that you've been working on.
When you finally get that kipping goal that you've been working on forever.
Right.
So that right there, that increases your...
And I often have to defend CrossFit to my physical therapist friends, and I always say that it's not really about the stuff that you see on YouTube. It's not just the high intensity stuff. It's skill building, and you're just consistently building skills. So everything you do, even something as simple as a push-up, we're teaching people how to do it better. Trying to be more efficient. So something that you may have done your whole life and felt that you can do well, there's this mastery of movement that is taking place in this community. And that's the other word, community. It's absolutely what we have going on here in CrossFit. Certainly, it's not just in CrossFit. You see this popping up in a lot of different health and fitness places right now. Right next door, we have an Herbalife place. And the Herbalife community is very similar in that it's just a bunch of people getting together, trying to be healthy, and getting to know each other, making relationships, right? Feeling like they're doing something that's bigger than themselves. In that, once you make these relationships, you're naturally going to want to help people out that you're involved in. I know here in this community, I have a lot of people that they've been clients of mine, they've been patients of mine, and then I'm also working with some people in their businesses. So we help each other out in other ways. We feel, and we want to do that. It's something like. It's not necessarily like we're hanging out all the time, but we just feel there's this camaraderie here that you just get from moving, trying to work on mastering things together. And you can't mention, it's not up here, but we can't not mention the benefits that happen psychologically just from moving. just from exercising, and that's been well studied too. And that's actually been another component of happiness that's been looked at, is just how aerobic exercise has endorphin release and positive effects on dopamine and certain things in the brain. So, all of that working together in a community atmosphere just really has a nice benefit towards making someone happy. And you notice that nothing on here has to do with how much money you make, and all that stuff. And a lot of it has to do, as we think about like making it, we're making a lot of money, we're going off and we're kind of retiring, living, by ourselves, like having a model land. And that's really, it seems that it's not at all in this model.
No, I don't think that anyone really thrives in isolation at all. Relationships are one of the greatest things about life. They help us to strive to be better people. And Seligman was talking about how we are better when we're together than alone. And obviously, I totally agree with that. CrossFit helps build relationships, and that's one of the reasons why I love it so much.
Right. And I just saw a comment recently. I think here at CrossFit Advanced they put up that they're running a special here for a month off, and someone was complaining. Everybody has their opinion on Facebook that it's still overly expensive. You can get your own equipment, do this stuff on your own. That's obviously someone who's never been in the community before, does not understand the benefit of being in this community atmosphere, and how much one for performance you make gains like crazy because you're always helping each other out. But also, there's just something like I know I was one of those people who I did CrossFit on my own for about 4 years, and then when I got in the community, it was like night and day. Just I'm so glad I got involved in this. So I thank Lindsay for this. Something that we've been talking about for a while. I just wanted to kind of put it up there. Comment on it if you have to, but I think this is. Oh yeah, and then one of the things that is looking into, there's a documentary called Happy, and it kind of explains all this stuff, and really maybe get you into looking into something like positive psychology. It's an up and coming scientific field, and I think there's a lot of benefit to really understand and experiment with some of this stuff and see if it makes a difference in your life. See you next time.